club level facility where we cater to the sportsmen, people that pay to race, not people that get paid to race. These are examples of people that get paid to race. You see this on television. So the largest photograph is of a NASCAR oval. We all know that that was attempted up in Kitsap and it failed. The top right picture is Formula One. That might be IndyCar, I'm not quite sure. The bottom right is Top Fuel in the Dragster Series. Now, the thing to understand is NASCAR teams, for instance, will spend $50 million a year to campaign their car. Formula One team will actually spend up to $500 million a year to campaign their car. Top Fuel is a minimum of $10 million, if not $15 million, to run a car. Okay, those guys aren't coming to Shelton, believe it or not. They're not. You know, they're all part of a circuit. They follow the series around the country, and they're not coming here. So who we cater to is people like me, club racers, people that do it for a recreational activity. This photograph to the upper right is a very good example. What you see at the bottom of the photograph is what's called a Pro 3, which is a 3 Series BMW car. We used to all know them as 320s. You can buy that car all day long from a used car lot for about $2,500. And these guys take that and turn it into a race car. And that happens to be a spec class. Everybody in that class has the same engine, the same tires, same. So it's very, very competitive. But you'll notice right above it is a Subaru station wagon. Okay, so that's an all-wheel drive grocery getter is what we call them. And that car is perfectly suited for our track as well. So if you look to the left, you'll notice it's a mixture of all of them. It's race cars and street cars. The bulk of the business is not racing at a racetrack, amazingly enough. The bulk of the business is actually teaching performance driving and recreational events. True racing only occurs about 20% of the time at the track. The rest of the time the facility is used as a teaching facility. And our site right now is 176 acres. You can see the condition. When we started the project, it had been about 50% clear cut, 50% non-timber. I brought this up before. When we came to Mason County to site the track, this had been attempted 7 times in the state of Washington since 1970 to get a use permit to build the track. Each attempt had failed. Several attempts, they spent millions of dollars to try to get it done. So we come to Mason County. My wife is from here. My entire family is from here. I'm from Olympia, lived there my entire life. We wanted it to be here, but that didn't mean it could be here. So that was when we were introduced to Matt with the Economic Development Council. He began the process of walking us through the permitting process to get a use permit. You cannot build nor operate a motorsports facility without a use permit. So Matt is instrumental in getting this thing done because we took to the Mason County Commission and Mason County Planning Department a plan that nobody knew how to manage. Nobody knew how to build a racetrack because one hasn't been built since 1961. They didn't know how to zone it, didn't know how to treat it, didn't know. So again, I can't say enough about Matt and the Economic Development Council. He made the introductions, helped us and our land use attorney get through all the codes, all of the interpretation of code, what code fits, attended all of the hearings with us, helped the presentation. So this is what we started with. It was 173 acres. This is what we have today. We got and it's actually more advanced than you see today. We got our use permit on April 26th of 2011. Our very first event is next week, which is on March 16th. And so we were able to build a 2.5-mile road course, and the road course was paved, and we went from what you previously saw to that in 10 months. Typically a project like this takes 4 years. So clearly we were motivated. We have a full 2012 season on the road course, and we suspect that the drag strip, once completed, will be filled up as well. Okay, this is a map of the road course itself. Road racing, which is also called circuit racing, is a European import. When the troops came back from World War II, they saw road racing all over Europe in these funny little sports cars, because Europeans are the ones that invented sports cars. They brought that culture back to the United States, And what's developed today is we call it road racing in Europe, it's called circuit racing. So it's not a circle, and it's not a straight line, it's a series of corners and turns and hills, up, down. We have this track, this land, quite frankly, lent itself to probably one of the most spectacular tracks in America. This thing has been compared to world famous tracks already all over Europe, which is, you know, we knew we had something. Well, when you're a small business person, you fall in love with your project. You have to, or you won't get it off the ground. You got to love your baby. So once we got the permit and we started pulling stumps and knocking timber down, it was like, holy smokes, look at the topography of this place. We left a lot of the trees intact, and once it was finished, it's very, very European in style, which means it's meandering, it's over a large area, it's got a lot of elevation change. We've had guys from England show up. We've had guys, I mean, everyone's amazed. They're talking about it in Germany. They're talking about this racetrack. And we have commitments from people from Australia that are coming up to run this track. So it turned out to be, I'd like to say we're geniuses. We're not. We worked hard, and with the community cell, we pulled off a friggin' miracle is what we did.